Hiya, it's Gaz here from Moth Creaturae with another video update on this custom helmet that I'm making to coincide with the first Moth Creaturae motorcycle build. I'm in the workshop, it's a night time, it's gibbering. You see the bloody cold coming out my mouth. So I've got the cooker on, well I've got the heater warming up, the blowtorch there, your little automatic lighter, getting the wood going. So today what we're going to cover is, let me show you the helmet first of all, right, where we've got to with it. So quick recap on the previous videos. You'll remember fill the sides in, we then cut, we shaped the channels that we needed to do, and the next thing we needed, we also marked the visor up and we cut the visor. The next thing we need to do is pretty much line things up and put the edging on, you know. So that's what we've done. The edging strips came, this is what they look like. Just keep checking on that thing. I've got wood all over the place, right, for other jobs that are coming in, right, and I don't want that blowtorch to fall over and bloody set something ablaze while I'm gobbing off on the internet here to use. It'll be like a pantomime. I'll be looking at you talking and you'll be watching going, big flames behind us, isn't that? Right, anyway, so this is kind of what I went for. It's chrome, and actually the camera won't do it justice because when I looked at it on the internet it looked a bit plasticky tacky. In person it actually looks really good. It looks like real, you know, like when you've got them chromed parts on your car bumper and that, like your grille, and it's done well by a manufacturer. That's what it looks like, but clearly it's quite bendy sideways. Like you can see the kind of profile there. It's not going to want to bend the other way against it, you know. So that's the thicker one. Here's the thinner one. So the thicker one was for around the base of the helmet. The thinner one is for around the opening, the face opening. And then my thoughts for the visor were, if we've got loads of chrome, I don't want it to look tacky. So we've got nice chrome there. So I thought we'd go with black, right, for that. And for this one, it's not the U shape. You see that? It's like a total different. There's the U shape one. So it's quite rounded. This one's really square. It's got a square edge. And the reason I went with that is, just so it would be quite flat, sleek, you know, the visor piece. The helmet, yeah, nice rounded edges, looks pretty in that as well. But for the visor, it doesn't really, it needs to just seal. So I thought a flat edge for that. The issue being that it's 6mm thick or 6mm deep. So when you try and curve it, that extra material wants to go somewhere. So the other day I was trying to think, how am I going to do this? I think I'm just going to have to put it really tight on the corners to try and get it, like, you know, to stay down. So I want it to be flush. I don't want it to look like have extra ripples in it or nothing, you know. So anyway, here's the sort of edge and strips that we were talking about for the helmet. I bet you can guess what I've done, can't you? I obviously got some of it off and I fitted it to the helmet. There's no point in doing a video and not doing it, right? Because otherwise you'll be sitting here for like an hour thinking, come on, Gaz, man. Right, so we've got this. This is spare stuff in case we ruin the other stuff, but I'm hoping we don't. Oh, this is taking ages, hang on. That piece of wood just did not want to burn. So here's the helmet as it looks at the moment. Right, clearly it's not the finished piece, is it? Clearly, because you're not going to even tell because of the previous design. But ignore all the previous design. Don't be like one of them people that goes to buy a house, and even though it's a mint house, it might be decorated rubbish, and you look at it and go, nah, it's not for me. That's that previous owner's decoration. Look beyond that. Look at what you can possibly do with it. That's what I do when I look at stuff. So ignore all the design that was originally there, right? You'll see that we've got a chrome strip on the edge here, right? We've got the visor in place where it was going to be, which I'm pretty chuffed with how it is. Obviously it's sellotape in place. The visor is cut to the same size as what the aperture is, so I'm pretty chuffed with that. It sits on the lip there, it sits inside the lip. Let's take this off. Sits inside the lip on the top there. So actually I think it's going to look pretty cool. Now the reason you can still see the chrome beyond there, like on the inside of the visor, I'll take this off. It's sellotape in place at the minute. Take it off. So see, it's looking like a retro lid. Yeah. Once it's all painted all black, apart from the telltale sort of vent covers on the top, which are also going to be painted black, but apart from them, you'll not know that this was a carbon fibre titanium helmet. You'll think it's like one of these retro helmets. You'll just not know who manufactures it. And hopefully I do it well enough where you do think someone's manufactured it, not just someone's like pulled it out the bin. But anyway, what I need to do now is, you'll see the edging doesn't tuck all the way into the helmet. So I'll use the envy glasses here so you can see. There's like a gap. And the reason that's happening is because that little piece of helmet that's sticking out, if you like, that ridge or that's sticking out, that the edging grips onto, is too big for my edging. So what I need to do now is I need to remove the edging. I need to mark it up first, right? Mark it up, and then I need to remove the edging, and then I need to go around and cut it all off, then refit the edging, right? To make sure it all fits. Once I know it all fits, then we'll take it all off again, and obviously be getting ready for paint and what have you then. The other thing I need to be doing is put my press studs in, but we'll do that in a different video. Today's video we'll just do the edging strips and get that all fitted nice and snug. The other thing I need to mention, obviously it is edging strips, so there's going to be two edges. You see I've got it, the join there on the bottom. The join's not going to be on the bottom when I do this the final time. The join is going to be on the top. And the reason I'll put it at the top, right, is because most of the time I want to do as neat a join as I can, but it's never going to be invisible. The visor's going to be over it, so you'll not see it. Likewise, the one on the bottom, when I do that, the join will be at the back, where I've already got that one. And then when I do the visors, the join on the visors, it's going to be at the edge, like this. You'll see at the edge there. And the reason it'll be at the edge is because the leather strips will go around there and you'll not see any edging of the or joins of the edge. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this off. Cool, that's going now. It's neighbours in here. Right, so first things first. We'll look at this edge in here. Peel it off. Oh, my hands are numb. Right, so I'm looking at that. How I'm going to work it out here, just so you know, I've lifted up one edge there. You'll see that. Just so I can look at the other edge. So I can see how much of this ledge of the helmet needs to remain. So I don't want to cut too much off because then it's not going to have much to grip onto. But I don't want to cut too little off because then I'm going to have to just take it all off again and do it again. So I'm just going to try and work that out now. So I'm just going to look down there to see how much of that edge is actually in the U-shaped edging. So it actually looks, it's only a tiny piece, you know. It's literally as thick as the very tip of the nib of this that I need to remove. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take this off all the way around. Now when I fit this for the final time, I'll use, it's got like a glued back stuff in here at the moment, but it's not great because I'll be able to pull it off, albeit with a bit of effort. But when I go to fit it after painting everything, we'll use like a super strong glue, or even, let's see how it looks. I don't want it to be messy and damage the paint job, but even if need be, we'll use like sort of epoxy resin or like the fiberglass resin. You know, dab that on, and then we'll push this on in place, and it'll just keep it on there nice and tight. Right. You see, once you've already shaped it, keeps its shape, but because it is bendy, it'll go back to its original shape. Do you know what I mean? So we can bend it the other way. But it's good that it keeps its shape, but you don't want it to be mega springy because it just never look right. You'd always want to spring away. Right, so what I'm going to do now, do you remember how I did the visor the other week? Instead of trying to draw lines going all the way around, right, and I would just never even, like, it just might mess it up. I went around the edge, measured in where I needed to come from the edge and put a dot, and then went along a tiny little bit, did the same, and then it went along. So I ended up with a series of dots, and then I put a dot in between them ones until eventually it ended up like a dashed line, and then I just joined that up. So that's what I'm going to do with this today. I'm going to hide some more wood in here first because it's Baltic. Can you see what I'm up to? Oh, you can see my little workshop there. So the thing with YouTube now, because I do like listening to music when I'm in here, but sadly, when you put music on YouTube, it cuts you out, which is a bit naff. So when I'm doing the videos, we ain't got no tunes going. You just have to listen to me gobbling off. Right, where was it? So it's the bottom edge. So let's put a series of dots, like I mentioned. Right, so I've just noticed something there. Around the bottom edge, it's uniformal, isn't it? I mean, the edges are uniformal as well, but clearly, where that's about sort of 5-6 mil, up the side here, it's a little bit wider, it's getting onto about sort of 8-9 mil, you know, because obviously where I brought the, put the fiberglass up to, you know, so just gonna have to bear that in mind when I'm going around. I don't want to, I'm gonna have to take more off than I thought I would have to. If that makes sense. And what do I have to do when we're doing the cutting? What's like super important that we remember? Get glasses. Got to get the gigs on. Can't even speak here. It's that cold. Glasses. If you remember from last time, I'll have my gloves on as well. Because last time I was so eager and excited, like, oh, get in, I'm on doing a YouTube again, get in, I'm gobbing off on the video. And I got so excited and I nearly took my finger off of the, the spinning disc. So I'm glad I had my gloves on, because it just took a chunk of my gloves and not my hand. Nearly done. Right, cool. Join them up. So just while I'm doing this, I'll just go off a little bit. There's obviously last year, mad. So I live in Hereford, but I get that we're not like a sort of isolated place, you know. I get everyone else around the world has their own things going on, you know. And in this winter, like, was it now? It's like end of January now, end of January 21. I don't want to tempt fate, but it's been relatively cool for people in Hereford. Last year, there was floods, mad, crazy floods last year at the start of the year. People losing their houses and stuff. Lots of people. I don't live down by the river. I live out in the countryside a little bit. So I'm quite lucky in that respect. It didn't affect me personally. Like, not directly anyway. It did affect us personally. When I wanted to go to the shop, it would take longer and all that sort of stuff. But directly, it didn't really affect us. So I was really fortunate in that sort of aspect of things. And then we went into that crazy lockdown. So last year, I was so lucky, to be honest with you. Amazing year. I'm not sitting here gobbing off. I'm just trying to share it with you. I was buzzing, like, you know. Obviously, we got Moth Creaturae off the ground, right, which was brilliant. I was chuffed to bits with that. I had been sharing the positive memes, like my own made ones, right? Positive affirmations. And I wholeheartedly believe in everything I've been saying there, you know. It's not like... it's not rubbish. I'm not like just making it up, and nor was I doing it just for, I don't know, shits and giggles. You know, I was doing it because genuinely it helped me, and I felt at that time that, well, it also helped me sharing it, but I also felt if someone else can get something out of what helped me, well, that's good. I'll pass that on, share it with you. So I was doing that, and then it got to the point where obviously I was doing the workshop videos, and that was good. Enjoyed it. I was in lockdown, so obviously, as you know, like armed forces. Last year I managed to get away skiing. I was trying to become a ski instructor. I've got to do one more course before I can actually become a ski instructor. And so I went away twice. Went away in January, awesome, went to France. Come back, I was back on work for a couple of days, and I thought, this is horrendous. And so I put in for the next course. I wasn't doing nothing, so I figured, like I wasn't busy in that period, so I figured why not, someone else would go on it. So I went on that one. I went to Germany and Austria, amazing. And that's when we end up getting a global lockdown. Things end up getting closed off around the world. I come home straight into lockdown, and but the wife was pregnant, homeschooling me kid, like my eldest, and then August we had my little girl, serendipity, amazing, and then got the company started. Obviously I'd been making things before then, you know, like me lamps and tables and stuff like that, as opposed to just doing the positive messages. But got that all off the ground, got the website up, you know. It was all part of the evolution of Moth Creaturae. I get that I do t-shirts as well, and people are like, t-shirts are nice, the stuff that he makes nice, but what's the link, guys, what's the link? And in my head it was always about doing this. It's always about doing motorbikes. Just didn't have the time, didn't have the resources to commit to doing the motorbikes at that time. Had to get something set up to do the woodworking, because it's a constant sort of flow really. People are interested in buying the stuff that I make. I couldn't just chin it off to do something that I really like excited as or interested as. Got to do stuff that's going to bring money in as well. But we're getting there. I'm like so excited about this bike build, like really am. I can't wait to get cracking. We're parts at the minute, so the rear spindle for the back wheel, that's who we're getting like sort of made at the moment. The guy who's making it, Joe, and his lathe, he's making that for us. I don't have a lathe, so I can't do any of this stuff at the moment. And my wheel spacer, and then also my stem on the front, so I can put a different front end on my old school frame. They've steamed up already, that's ridiculous. So yeah, as soon as I get them back though, and I'm hoping it's going to be sometime soon, because it's really stopped us in my tracks. I can't progress with anything else until I fit the front and back end up solidly, so they're not going anywhere, and then I can mock up other bits that I want, because there's a few detailing bits that need to go on the front and detail on the back. Likewise, I need to change the sprocket, get a new sprocket made, which for a different offset, and I'm not going to know that until my back wheel's on. So it's a bit like, that's why I figured I'd do the helmet concurrent, you know, keep going, doing something else. Right, so I've got that marked up, I've got my gigs on, got my gloves on. I've just looked at my cutter there, we've got any cutting disc on, so let's get a cutting disc on. I'm not going to use a diamond one for this one, it's carbon fibre. I'm going to use a normal cutting disc. It will cut through carbon fibre, it's just, I don't know how quickly it'll wear it down, but it cuts through metal alright, so it shouldn't wear it down too quick. Right, let's get cracking here, let's see how we get on. I'm just going to rest my hand. I'm just going to rest my hand on this edge of the helmet, so then it gives a nice stable base, and then what I'm going to try and do is just move the helmet and keep my hand steady, like, you know. Right, see how we do. Hide my mask on. That's kicking up a bit more than I wanted it to, like, so bear with us. Hide my mask on. Probably worse off putting this on actually, because all the bloody dust in it. Cool. God almighty, it's like So in the army, you used to have these, like in training, you'd have these quick change parades. That's what this is like. Bloody quick change parade. I want to put goggles on as well, because these glasses are just, I don't want to get something in my eye, and the glasses are a bit sort of skimpy today, like. Right then, so like this time, huh? There you go. See the spark before? There's spark coming off it. It's the only thing, man. It misses up quite quick. She used to always go off in the army, like we'd see like foreign armies, the Americans and what have you, having what we thought was ergonomic kit. So the kit was designed to work alongside, directly alongside other kit, you know. So it'd be ergonomic. And our kit in the army was never fucking ergonomic, I swear Joe. It was never ergonomic. It was whatever the purse strings would pay for at that time, you know. So you had like a weapon system that didn't quite snugly fit in with your body armour bits when you're holding it up, and vice versa, you know. And it was just, that's what this is like. If the military were going to, I shouldn't slate the military, if they were going to supply PPE in here, actually I'd be lucky if this was it. Right. Sparks again. Can't see nothing in here, like, gets properly steamed up dead quick, you know. I don't know what the sparks were there. Do you see the sparks coming off it? There shouldn't be any metal there, like, but it must be something that the manufacturers put in the framework, you know.
even see when I put it down there.
I couldn't even see when I put it down there. Obviously, it is dangerous, ridiculously dangerous, using that, cutting it when I can't even see through my goggles because the goggles keep steaming up. But my first thought wasn't about my own safety, it was about, I hope I don't cut too much material away because then I'm screwed. So, very cautiously taking material away. Give this a tidy up there. These goggles, man, are a nightmare. Let's not put the mask on. Just goggles. So I'll be able to see, but I'll breathe in all that shit there. It's getting a bit low on the front leg, bloody hell. So, see, I've took it down, right? It's not the neatest job, but remember, none of this is going to actually be on show. It's going to be hidden beneath the thing. That doesn't mean I'm content with it being a mess. I'll go around it and take all the edging off now. Just get a little sanding block and just make sure it's tidy, you know. And then we'll try and refit that thing back up. So there's my first early warning. There's my battery on its way out. Right, see if we can get this crap before the 10% one comes on. And remember, we're not removing a lot here, we're just tidying it, aren't we? Need to just do the edging a little bit. I'll put the mask on. So I'm not cutting now, I'm just going to use the edge of it like a little sanding disc. In fact, I've got sanding disc, what am I doing? Not 240s, 60s. And we'll go with that one. There's not loads left on it, but there's a little bit left on. It's enough so we can use that. That white around the outer edge It's not where it's lost its sort of grit. It's just bloody chalk or something. So I'm right, sort of, I believe in like sort of, I believe in fate and all that sort of stuff as well, but I'm pretty superstitious, right? Like, it's not even, I think it's just good practice. So I like turn that off before I would change the end, right? There's nothing going to set that off because my foot's not going to go on it. There's no animal going to go on it, you know, set it off. I just think, I always like sort of err on the edge of caution, really. Which is daft, really, because when I'm using the tools, I'm quite sort of loosey-goosey. Right then, let's see what this edging's like. I'm going to put it back on. Hopefully it'll go up to the where we need it to. Oh, fire's lush behind us, like. So I keep wet wipes in here now just because they're so handy, especially when you're using like for dusty stuff, you know. Right, so we're going to refit it now. I know it's still damp, but it's not going to be staying on there. I'm going to refit it the way that I had it before with the seam at the bottom. I'm going to start from the corners. Just figure I don't want to kink it too often or too many places, so I'm going to. Right, so. Straight away, I can see I need to take more off in that top corner. But around the bottom edge, it's looking sweet, man. It's looking cool. Oh yeah, really good. Because what we want is, we want it to be nice and snug. Right up against the edge of that sort of... Well, the surface of the helmet that you want to see. You don't want to see this edge bit that this bloody fits onto, you know. It's shrunk. I've lost like 10 mil because it's sitting further in. Of course it is, because we've made the aperture wider because we've removed some of the material. Right, so I want it to be uniform when it's done. If you look around this bottom edge where my finger is, buzzing. I'm loving that. Ignore the different colours. I know it's hard for you to see the difference, but where that ledge comes out, that's where that sits down to now, which is cool. That's what we want. But we want that to carry on all the way around, right? And it doesn't there, it kind of stops, gets a little bit wider there. Then you start seeing the carbon fibre there behind it, so we need to remove more material there. All the way around. It's uniform all along the top, but we just need to remove more all the way along. And then as it gets to the corners again, it sort of fans out and you see a bit more material there. So you need to get that out all the way down, and then it sort of evens out and gets nice again there. So that video, 35 minutes, right? I'm not going to keep you any longer, right? You know what I'm doing. I've showed you how I'm doing it. So I'm going to take this off again, cut it again. Next time you come back for the video, that one will be done nice and neat, all the way down to where it needs to be. Likewise, this one, the same thing I'm going to do with this one. Mark this one up, take it off, cut it, put it back on, right? So when you come back for another video, that'll be done as well. And then what we'll be doing is, we'll do the press studs for the sides of the visors. We'll also do the visor rubber, yeah, or cutting the visor where we're going to put the leather straps through. Right, so until then, thanks very much for sticking with us. I know we're not quite the Discovery Channel, you know, we've got no sort of commercials halfway in between to give you a break from me and me monotone. But cheers, until next time, all the best, bye.